Hey, this is Ciderhelm. In this video I'm going to be playing Ashe, and I'm playing in middle lane right here. Now I'm not too familiar with the mid lane. As you probably know at this point, I do prefer jungling. I'm very familiar with jungling, counter jungling, what to watch out for in there. But I don't usually play in the lanes, and when I do, I usually play in one of the side lanes. So I am being very, very cautious here, especially with this Annie, who I know as soon as she hits 6 can be very, very dangerous to me. And I've done a better job harassing her than she has me, but it's still very, very dangerous, and as I'll get into a little more here, generally when I play a carry, particularly a carry like Ashe, I do try to play it very, very cautiously. So that'll cost me some farm here. I'm a little bit behind. Now I just checked bottom lane because I just hit 6 and I wanted to see if there was a good place for an arrow. Didn't look like that would be an opportunity for me. And I just flashed away from Annie. Now I'm going to get on Annie, and this probably isn't the best idea. She is going to get a lot of damage out on me. If she were a little better, she may be able to, or may have been able to kill me there. I'm not quite sure, because I'm not quite sure if I was out of range of Tibbers during that or not, as it recalled to her, and how far she could have sent Tibbers beyond her had she been controlling Tibbers better. So I'm not exactly sure exactly how that went, but she makes a killer mistake here and decides to stay in mid, even at her low health. Now I've got her pretty low, and there our Amumu gets first blood. Now Amumu is Tashem. Tashem and Mastafong are the two players I'm playing with during this game. Now Mastafong is playing Veigar, Tashem obviously playing Amumu, and I'm going to come back to mid here. So I've focused on getting boots, and I'm going to get the speed boots soon. And as far as my rune seals, etc., I just went with the standard route. I did go for Desolation, the armor pen, as my quints and my reds. And I don't remember. I think I go with armor or something. You know, just very generic armor or mana for the others, and magic resist. So I am playing it safe now. Anytime Annie has that white swirl around her, that does mean that she has her stun available, and that's the last thing I want to have a combo coming off of with a stun. But Annie did just go missing. Amumu's got to watch out in the jungle. Now Amumu, as I've said many times, is a very, very fragile jungler here. So anything the team can do to support him is a good thing, and this is how I'm going to support him. I'm going to keep him alive. Now Annie did go straight for him. They must have had it warded, but we do have other players coming for him too. He got hit by Rammus. Rammus is in here. I'm going to get a slow off on them as they're chasing here. Annie does have her stun. If Annie gets in range to cast a spell on Tashem, he is dead. But we're going to get away. So Amumu now knows that he can't safely be in their jungle because they do have it warded. Pretty dangerous situation, but that's just how it goes. Good job on getting out of that. That's a good thing. So I've got Annie here. Again, I am playing it a little bit cautiously, so I'm a little behind when Veigar gets in here to get the gank. We are going to kill her, but I could have been more of a part of that had I been in there sooner. Now we're going to go back to cleaning up the lane. Now because I'm focusing on my boots here, my damage isn't spectacularly high. We do have another part where I'm going to help somebody get away from somebody. Now Volley, if you aren't familiar with Ashe, Volley, which is the main spell I'll use throughout the game, is my W, and that is a slow. I mean, it applies Frost Shot, which is your Q. It applies that every time you hit people with it. So I use that frequently as a means of getting people to, you know, slow down when they're chasing, or to slow them down when I'm chasing them. Now I'm headed back at middle. I haven't used my teleport this game because I'm trying to use it in situations where I can use it for a real purpose. So that is off cooldown. That's going to come into play in a second here. Mumu's going for their blue, and I'm just kind of paying attention to the side here. See if I can get a few hits, but this is where it's starting to cost me on not having something like a BF sword and instead choosing the boots. Not too much. I have Mordekaiser coming here. Now I want to get this kill on Mordekaiser. I'm moving faster than I expect, so I'm actually pretty close when I launch this arrow, and I start teleporting behind him to force him upriver towards Amumu, or at the very least, make sure I get the kill. Now I flashed in there to make absolutely sure that my shot would land before, say, Sona's, because again, Sona's a pug. They are a pretty good pug, but I don't realize that yet. So I want to make sure that nobody's taking the kills from me, because it's most important for me as the carry to have these kills early on. Especially in a team comp like ours, where I'm the only physical damage on the team. So I have to play it safe. I have to make sure I don't fall behind. And then by the same token, now I'm going right back to mid. I was going to stay there for red, but going right back to mid because I do see people here. I do need to make sure that I'm getting as fed as possible, and I'm not dying, I'm not falling behind. Okay, Amumu came in, bandage toss on. Now Amumu just missed his ult on Xin Zhao, and somebody corrected me on Xin Zhao's pronunciation. I'm not going to get into that. Now Annie is out of mana. This is good for me. I'm going to play it a little risky here, because I know Annie's out of mana, but I am still taking damage from her auto attacks and from Tibbers. But I am going to get away. Probably not the best thing for me to have done there, because I really wasn't aware of how much damage she was going to be able to get on me. However, I did get away with it. It did work out for me. Okay, so I'm going to wait here just a little for a BF sword. Pretty critical damage upgrade for me. I'm going to be building towards Infinity Edge, but before I get Infinity Edge, I'm going to go the fairly common route of getting Zeal first, which is the attack speed, movement speed, and crit chance item. Pretty cheap, about 1200. I'm going to get that before Infinity Edge, and then I'm going to finish Infinity Edge. So I'm checking Dragon, checking just a little downriver to make sure I'm safe coming in. I add a ward here. I do buy wards pretty frequently throughout the game here, and they do come into play. Like that kill on Mordekaiser we got was due to a ward, being able to know exactly where he is. Red buff there. Actually, not red buff. I'm not exactly sure why he died. Anyway, got the tower here. Now I do something bad here, and my character paths around. Maybe I clicked wrong. I'm not sure. But I go towards Rammus right there. That got me killed. Now, Annie was coming in. Of course, Annie got me killed too, and I wasn't paying enough attention to her. But by the time I reacted, I walked towards Rammus. He may have taunted at that point already. I'm not quite sure just looking at that. Also, Rammus, I just pulled up chat because of his Merc Treads incident, or at least his excuse of one. Alright, now our Vygar. Mastafang, unfortunately, probably doing something very stupid there. But we do have some action going on bottom lane. Now, I was going to go down river, but I'm going to turn around because I do see too many of them. It would not have been safe for me to go in there and get their attention and have them chase me. But we're about to get a little bit more of a fight here. Rammus is coming in. He makes a critical mistake in getting in tower range. He thinks he's going to do better. And I miss an arrow. Of course, that's not good, but I do get Xin Zhao anyway. But we did miss a slow on the others, so that's not good for me missing that arrow. Just getting used to smart casting. I make mistakes like that from time to time. Probably without smart casting I would too. Now here, Annie had her stun up, so I flashed in to make sure she did not have time to react to me moving towards her. Same, Twisted Fate was of course a concern there too, but if I had gotten stunned when I was moving in, that would have been very dangerous. So I did instantly just port in, kill her, get right back out. Alright. So I'm back at base here. I've managed to avoid dying a second time here. This is a good thing. And I'm coming back towards bottom. We're going to have a little bit of a fight here again, which is of course a good thing too, because I like killing people. But there's not going to be too much action here. We do ward off Mordekaiser because I can see him. He moves out, but then he's going to stay there. We do have these two here, Rammus, or three at this point, Rammus, Annie, and Mordekaiser. Don't know exactly where they are. I'm going to start placing wards. I thought I didn't get that ward in the bush. Turns out I did, but that's why I typed that. And then in a second here, even though Twisted Fate can see me, I am going to place another ward. It's a pretty common place. They should expect it. It might have been a good idea for me to wait, and so they didn't know that was warded. But I just saw he may not have seen it was warded either, because he just ran past it, gave away that Twisted Fate is right there. Xin Zhao's here too. So we've got a pretty big, pretty full team fight about to go on here. And I am watching out for this Annie and, of course, this Rammus. Now, this is another part where I'm playing a little too cautiously. We get that crescendo off on all of them, but I stand back, and I actually miss a couple shots that I could have taken, a couple auto attacks that I could have taken. Not sure what it would have resulted in, but that was definitely a case of I'm being a little too cautious, trying to make sure I stay alive, make sure I'm behind everybody. Not sure the net result had I not done that, but definitely something that I probably would change, hindsight. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and work on the tower here, but good stun on Mordekaiser, and he's down. And we're gonna get that tower pretty soon here. If Twisted Fate had run a little more forward, I was expecting him to try to land one of his shots, then he would have run into that volley, but he didn't, so it looked like I just missed a volley, because I did just miss a volley. Take it as it is. But, again, I'm staying back just a little. I'm keeping an eye on that ward on the minimap, make sure that nobody's coming in from above us. And now they have gone towards mid. Now you can't hear this, but Tashem has let us know that they're going towards mid. And Annie's down. Very, very quick kill on Annie. Our Morgana takes the two last kills in a row. I'm back at the base, or back at the tower rather. And I'm about to port back to the base, if I am not mistaken. There we go. Went ahead and picked up another damage item. This will help my farm a little bit. My farm's been going okay because I am doing pretty well on kills. So far, I feel like I've been a good contribution to our team fights. That's always a good thing, especially when you're especially when you're the carry. And we've done a decent job of holding towers, but we haven't done a very good job of pushing towers. I believe, I can't really tell because I'm doing all this in Adobe Premiere and I'm doing the preview here, watching the little preview, and it's a little too small, so I can't tell if that top on the mini-map, that top tower, it is down. Okay, kind of embarrassing, but I am getting used to kind of the smaller preview I have to work with when I'm narrating here. Okay, so their team was hiding in a bush there, pretty dangerous, and Sona unfortunately did not get the warning soon enough. But we're going to just make sure that they don't push too far. Now, I'm going to have mana issues pretty quick here. Oh, and this is a great 50 gold for that minion. It's always worth killing an Annie Tibbers. And unfortunately not the reverse Annie skin. That would have been good to get in this video, but not the case. Okay, so I just did a hawk shot over here. Didn't see anybody. Placed a ward behind Baron. I'd rather not, again, always playing cautiously as Ashe. I'd rather not run out into the river to place it in front. Vygar just checked that bush. That's good. And I'm going to go up here and make sure that I have a good spot to get some minion kills here. Vygar's going to be aiming to get some of these minion kills as well, of course. Alright, so I'm going to be going back to base. I'm going to be building the Infinity Edge. Fantastic item for Ashe. I'm not sure if there's really much of any other way to build this. I'm also trying to get an angle to ult here to just see if I can grab that dragon kill, but there was no angle where an ult would have dealt damage to the dragon. So I'm going to head back down bottom here, and we are about to have a team fight. This team fight is not going to go well for them. Fighting into the tower does not work, especially when you have an Amumu and a Morgana with their ults and a Sona with her ult. Definitely not good for them. Now, I don't net the kills here. Morgana does. I do get a kill out of it, but Morgana is doing well here. And that situation was really a fantastic one for her. Okay, so I'm back up top. Going to ward Xinjiao off a little bit here. Do some damage to him, make sure he doesn't feel comfortable staying here. And then I'm going to just do a little bit of farm. One thing that Ashe is extremely good at is farm. Now, like I said, I had some problems early game, but that's not going to be the case anymore. And it hasn't been the case for a while. When Ashe gets some items, and even before, but when she gets some items, her farm is just incredible. And that's how it's going to play out. That's true for most of the AD carries. Okay, so we're at mid here, and I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on here, but we are going to be pushing, putting some pressure on them. Rammus coming in, attempting to initiate. Now, Morgana's done a fantastic job of making sure these initiates aren't, from Rammus, are not actually hitting us. But we did lose a couple players there. That's not good. We're going to have to defend this. And unfortunately, I'm about to run out of mana, so there's not much, or I basically am out of mana at this point. So there's not much I can do to chase and potentially get any kills out of that. At least, maybe I could have, but I was not thinking that I could. Okay, so I'm up top. I'm just going to get a few more creep kills here. Missed a couple there, but I'm going to get the rest. Okay. Now, Hawkshot is always fantastic. I always try to use Hawkshot when I'm moving from place to place. I don't want to give away where I'm moving or where I'm moving from. That's what I'm trying to avoid at any given time when I use Hawkshot. But there's a lot of times where I'm just moving and I want to make sure that where I'm going past, the likely places I'm going to be attacked from are covered, so I can see them moving through the jungle in particular. It's also a great way, if I'm going to place a ward, if I Hawkshot first, it allows me to place that ward more easily, to make sure that I'm not going to get ganked when I'm placing the ward. Okay, a bit of a battle here. And this is not going to go too well for them. Annie just gets destroyed there. Annie has not been playing well this game, and that's really not paying off for their team. She was their mid. Whoever is your mid has to do well. I mean, you can get away with it, of course, if they don't, but they have to do well for most games to be successful. Okay, Rammus just came in. That's I didn't account for him. That's why I was staying a little bit back there. But of course, as always, I probably could have been a little closer in hindsight. Now we are going to get a Rammus kill here. He is not going to get out of this, but we are going to get pretty low. There we go. Tashem does get away. Amumu versus Rammus, always good. And I'm going to back up, and I'm going to go get a little bit more farm here. I'm low health. This is a good time for me to get this farm because I'm pretty sure that they're not going to be up here, given that we're right next to their base. So, again, very, very good farm. And now they've had time, you know, maybe Twisted Fate, although I can account for him on the minimap. Now they've had time to get up here, but I'm going to play it a little safe. Actually, I guess I went back there because I accounted for him on the minimap. Not really remembering because this was yesterday that I recorded this game, but there you go. Just placed a ward. And doing a little bit more farming. I'm safe here, but I'm not safe any further. Pushed it out, but I'm not going to push to that tower. Might be able to get away with it, but not for sure. So at this point I built Phantom Dancer. I'm not positive that was the best investment, but now I just purchased a BS sword. So the next thing I'm going to be aiming for is a Bloodthirster. And coming down towards a team fight bottom here, not much of a team fight. They did get caught in the jungle there. It wasn't warded, that's a bad thing. Morgana, for whatever reason, is saying that we've lost this game at this point, which I thoroughly disagree with. Okay, so Twisted Fate trying to get away here, dealing a lot of damage to him. And that last shot is going to get him. He might have gotten away. Annie doing something questionable, running into us with almost no health. Not the best decision, Annie. Congratulations. Maybe you should go to school a little longer. Okay. So that's gone well for us. I mean, it started off not going too well for us, but we did get a couple kills out of it, and they did have to fall back here. We've got another ward here. We're going to get Rammus here. Again, Morgana's going to land the skill shot. Of course, there was a Vygar stun there, but Morgana has been good about this game. Alright. And we're just going to put a little bit of pressure here. I don't think we're going to stay here too long. It is a little bit dangerous, and I'm, as always, kind of low on health. That's kind of the drawback, and this is part of why I'm getting the Bloodthirster. Kind of the drawback of fighting a Rammus is that I'm getting damage dealt back to me. And I'm winding up kind of low on a lot of these fights. So what I wound up doing is getting Bloodthirster here. Now, I just purchased Bloodthirster, so of course the first thing I have to do is get myself killed. That's the best thing to do when you have items, a scale on not getting killed. Alright, I just landed an arrow on Twisted Fate. Of course, that doesn't help with the Mordekaiser problem, but I am going to go in. This is a very stupid, risky thing on my part, but I'm going to make sure he dies. Now, at the very least, that kill was guaranteed because of wards. Wards are fantastic. This flash, it may not have killed me, but it certainly made sure that there was no chance I was getting out. You know, maybe if I had known and tracked that he had flash and guessed that he would use flash, I could have juked through that bush. Didn't happen, but in a roundabout way, I've just initiated a fantastic team fight for us. Maybe Sona gets credit for this because Sona actually is the one who started this. So I'm actually watching this team fight instead of looking at my items. It doesn't look like it because I have the item screen pulled up, but that's why I pulled it down just a little bit. And this is basically, there's an ace. So this game is not going too well. Really, a lot of this game, I haven't been following the performance of the other players. Rammus does get screwed in a lot of places where maybe he wouldn't get screwed. Again, because of that Morgana, I'm going to give a lot of credit to her on that. But really, a lot of this comes down to an Annie who is not performing well as Annie. And Annie is deceptive. She is a champion that can be easy to play decently, but in a game like this, if she's not playing great, which takes quite a bit more skill, it also takes something like, just as I grow more familiar with like smart casting, it seems to me, and I could be incorrect, it seems to me that she is losing a lot by not using smart casting, which I'm assuming is the case, because it seems to me that you can get a lot more damage out a lot more quickly if you're instantly firing those spells. Alright, so at this point we're just doing a little bit of roaming, just checking to see if anybody's here, but also doing some jungle here. I'm going to take the red buff. I didn't take it at any point up to this, at least not that I'm aware of, and I'm going to get a little bit more farm here. I haven't taken it. I probably should have taken it a little earlier. We do have Rammus here. I'm going to go back in the bush here, just like I did with Xin Zhao earlier, but this time Rammus is not pushing up any further. Wouldn't have netted anything either way, but I was hoping to get just a little bit of damage on him, and just a hawk shot again, make sure that I'm not going to get ambush coming down here. And we're coming to Dragon. I'm not going to reach Dragon in time. I'm not going to get this kill. Not too big of a deal. I mean, not that I was trying to get the kill on Dragon, but I'm not going to be part of that fight. So take it as it is. So we're going to put a little more pressure here on mid, and we might get a little bit of a fight coming up here. What are we seeing? They're downriver. And Rammus is going to come, again, try to get in here. We've got a Morgana stun, Morgana immobilize, and we've got a... There we go. Nice, nice ult. Morgana gets an ult, Amumu gets an ult, Crescendo. I got my ult off. There is no way that they're coming out of this. We did lose Sona. Very, very sad because Sona is... Sona? I mean, what are you going to do? I used to play Sona a lot. I really enjoyed Sona, but it's been a long time. That's actually the first champion I started playing. When I started playing League of Legends, Sona was brand new to the game. It was about a week after I started playing that she was released, and I started playing her, and I had a lot of fun with AP Sona. Again, I've taken a long break since I was originally playing this, so probably about 7-8 months. Now, we're in a team fight here we don't want to be in. I played it extremely safe, used a flash to get even further out. I did not need to do it. As always, I do play this class very, very conservatively. Until I am more familiar with her, I'm going to make sure that I'm not dying anytime unnecessarily. With the sole exception of that running after Twisted Fate. That was pretty unnecessary. Okay. So again, we're going to be doing just a little bit more roaming here, just checking out. There's not going to be too much more to this game. This game is very, very lopsided in our favor. There's almost no way we're going to lose this. I mean, we could technically lose it, but it'd be very, very difficult to do. As long as I keep playing it safe, as long as I'm not dying, that's going to be going well for us. Now, we did just see them, but they see us now. We're going to go ahead and back out just a little. And now we're moving as a group at this point because if they catch any of us off guard, that's going to be dangerous. But then also them catching us off guard is a quick way for us to lose the game. We're making it so they don't have any opportunity. Even if they see us all with, say, Twisted Fate or even wards, they can't do anything to us. That's a good situation to be in. You don't really want to be spread out, especially in games where they're not going in your favor. But when they are going in your favor, you can guarantee they will continue to go in your favor by making sure that you're moving together as a group. Okay. So again, this is going to be the last fight. We do have a lot of damage going out. There's not much they can do. They have not had a chance to scale. At this point, it's just mopping up. They should... they're not going to concede this game. We're actually going to push to their Nexus. There will be one more amazing kill. Not really. It's just another Rammus kill. And I'm pretty sure he gets Morgana immobilized. But let's see what happens here. So here's Annie. Rammus are up. We're just pushing, making sure we get down to this tower, although not as effectively as possible since we didn't need to kill those creeps. Alright, we're on the tower. We're going to get some damage here. I'm keeping my distance. I still don't want to die, even though it's... Oh, missed. Alright, well that's the end of him. And now we're going to go ahead and push this, win this, and this is the end of the game. Thank you for watching. This is Ashe. Quite a bit of fun.